This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
Oh, yeah. So you probably want to get yours up a little bit closer.
Okay.
You can grab just...
All right.
Yeah.
And co-host Marney Winfield.
I got nothing.
Well, let's talk recovery.
Is that, are we supposed to finish that sentence or something?
No. It is the 26th of August. The year is 2021. My name is Corey Winfield.
My name is Marney Winfield.
Probably heard about us through some friends. Maybe you saw us at the store. Like, what the hell is that 217 recovery stuff on that guy's shirt or that woman's shirt? Well, this is it, man. We're talking about recovery. And we would talk about the AA event that's coming up, a national convention, but they don't do like media and press and stuff, so we're not going to talk about that. But I'm going to talk about my day a little bit and our past couple days. Mm-hmm. The last podcast I did, I was having a moment, man. It was a tough struggle for me on Tuesday. And it continued on to Wednesday and today. But that's life. You know, you got to deal with it. I went to a meeting tonight in Traverse City, Michigan. My friend Matt and I went. And you know how if you go to an AA meeting and you got to go through the readings and all that. And then they're like, okay, it's open. And it's just, all you hear is just...
Right.
You're like, okay, well. I was like, all right, well, enough of this. So I just opened it up and was like, look, here's some of the things I'm dealing with, and which we'll get into more in just a second. But, I found myself trying to distract myself, which I kind of talked about on Tuesday. And I don't know if I was able enough to understand what was going on, or if just the sadness just hit me that I needed to go deal with the situation, and I needed to go cry. I needed to feel what was going on. And the old me, and probably the same with you, Marnie, we would like to hide those feelings. We like to drink those feelings away because they're uncomfortable and we didn't like them.
Right. But
that's part of life. Not everything's going to go our way. We had a great talk this morning in bed. Mm-hmm. And, we're doing pretty well in our recovery so far. And to think that everything's just going to be handed to us, we don't think that. But damn it, we would like to believe that life's going to get so much better for us. And it already has, way beyond anything I've ever imagined. And I know it's just going to get better. So when things happen like they do, and there's nothing we can do to control the situation, it's devastating sometimes. And I'm talking about Marnie and I. We were married in December, and we want to start a family. And that's kind of the next step for us, is that's what we think, in our plan. And so we've been trying, and we conceived, and we went for the first appointment, the heartbeat, and it was so exciting. And they say, don't tell people until a certain amount of time, and whatever. Everybody's different. But I was trying to think so positive, and, I was praying so hard to God, like, please, let this work out, and I'll show you my faith. We're buying diapers. And I was just like, look, I'm going to show God that I believe in him, and that I believe that this is going to work out. And, I think he's maybe thinking, well, that wasn't the right time, and the real test of faith is to come. But unfortunately, it didn't work out for us. And unfortunately for you, Marnie, I know you took this really hard too. And, being the man in it, and I felt bad on Wednesday when I woke up, because the podcast that I did on Tuesday was just all about me. But I couldn't really tell your side of the story.
Right. And I wanted to participate on Tuesday, but I was just kind of so raw with the whole situation that I didn't think I would be any good. I wouldn't be any help, actually. But it's one of those things where we've been through this actually twice before. So, and it's not something that people talk about it. And I think we actually did talk about it on the podcast at one point, long after it was all over with. And this time, of course, we're going to be careful. We're not going to tell anybody because we want to make sure we're covering our tracks. And that way you have to explain to everybody if something happens. And then we were talking about it more and thinking that's no way to live. If we're excited about it, we should share this news, and of course, then the cat got out of the bag because this guy over here wanted to, what'd I say? You were going to rent one of those airplanes and write it in the sky, or whatever. Hot air balloon, who knows what. But no, and we we were riding that rainbow because it was exciting, and we're thinking what are the chances of, this not working out again? And of course you had all these awkward questions after the fact, what's wrong with you? Or and then there's not any rhyme or reason. I'm older, so that's a high risk situation, but I'm not ancient. My anatomy's fine and all that. It's just, this stuff just happens. And, I found that when you finally do open up about it, which I had to do a lot of that the last couple days, just for my own sake, because I felt like it was the right thing to do, because I figure and when I was sharing with the people that I did share with, my mentality was these people are my support network. They care enough about me and I care enough about them that I want them to be excited with me, regardless of what happens. And so why wouldn't I want them in my corner if something does happen, God forbid. And some people are oh, you're already being negative about it. You're already thinking that, you're pessimistic and whatever. And maybe a little bit of that is true, but it's just what I felt like I had to do, And so we found out Tuesday. I'm sorry. Was it Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tuesday we found out that the pregnancy wasn't viable. And the initial kind of was this shock situation. And then, I could tell you were just trying to be the rock of the whole thing, and which isn't healthy either, because you weren't really showing much emotions. You were just, I think, trying to be supportive of me. And it took a while for it to set in. And, I contacted my mom and your mom and, family, whatever people I had told them news. And then I, people that I had entrusted with the information at my job, who are really good support network. And all I got back was love and support, and do you need anything? Is there anything I can do for you? And, be strong. And I can't even imagine what you're feeling right now. And some people can, because a lot of women have been through this, and a lot of men have been there with their spouses or loved ones and been through it. It's just people don't talk about it, and all you hear is about the success stories. All you hear and all people post on Facebook is, their beautiful newborns and not the situations when the baby doesn't make it. And it happens more than we talk about. And that kind of put me in a spot mentally where I was recognizing that there are lessons to be learned here. That everything does happen for a reason. When we have our child, I want it to be 100% healthy,
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, that baby was not going to be born healthy. So nature took its course, and, we have to try again. And so it's one of those things where I was thinking about it as I was, responding to these texts and what have you. And it just kept me crying, and I could not stop crying. And so I'm taking some time for myself, to be with you and to kind of work through this and process and know that I'm not alone. And that I have people who care about me and support me and want, my mental health to be and me to be in a good spot to go back into the world, because I'm gonna, this is not, it doesn't end here. And the most important thing out of all of this is not one point in all of this devastation and sadness did I ever think I'm going to get drunk over this. I'm going to get high. Did I think to myself, I don't like feeling this way? I really don't want to feel this way right now? Of course I did. But was I going to make it go away with drugs or alcohol? Not a chance. So that right there is huge victory. So it's been tough. It's been a struggle, and but I'm going to get through it. We're going to get through it. And so we just keep on trucking, and tomorrow's another day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we have to do. And you said, and that's awesome that you didn't think about drinking. I didn't either. My therapist gave us mad props for that. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Susan. Appreciate it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I ever felt like I don't want to feel this way. I mean, I would rather just have everything still fine, but I don't think I thought, I don't want to feel this way. I didn't even think about it. Like, my brain took over and said, ooh, avoid. And then finally, after the sadness and everything just started coming over me, I realized I couldn't hide anymore, and I needed to come see you, and we needed to cry. I needed to let it out. And like you said earlier too, this is something that men go through. And I wanted to just open up and talk about it on Tuesday, but you weren't here and it wasn't fair. So I just kind of expressed a little bit how I was feeling that day and in that moment. But I feel it's important that guys do talk about this, because it does happen a lot. And, the women, you go through what you go through. I can't relate to that. I know it sucks for me, and I don't like to see the love of my life hurt either. So that's like really hurting. And it's a weird feeling for me, and I don't like it. You can't train for this,
Right.
And when we've already had two in the past that didn't work out so well. So I was trying to stay so positive that I didn't even let it creep to my mind that it's an option that this isn't going to work. Mm-hmm. So it like I said, it's something that men go through as well with women. And, it's okay to cry. There was a guy at the meeting tonight when I did open up about that, and he was telling me a story about how his baby was born and a couple months old, and he said it was a crib death or something. Mm-hmm. I've never heard of that before, but he said it was just horrible. And he said then his wife went through deep depression and then issues there, and it was bad. And another guy in the meeting said, everybody, something about everybody throw their problems on the table, and you'd be surprised at how many people are going to grab their own problems back and be like, no, I'll just deal with these things, so pretty much like as bad as you think you have it at that moment, well, somebody else has it worse.
Right.
and that guy wasn't trying to say that, but and this happened to him years ago, but he had around the same clean time that I have when that happened. And his story was very familiar. He's like, I'd never been married, and this and that. And I don't know, it was just so similar. But yeah, it's something into the world, and we're so early on, and are we doing all right? Yeah. And we love each other. Things are going great, but are we where we want to be in life? Are we where we want to be in our recovery? No. I mean, I guess we are. We're not drinking today. We're not using drugs. So I guess we are exactly where we want to be in our recovery, and we're exactly where we're supposed to be. But as far as what we want to do and where we want to be, no, we're just scratching the surface, so, why would anything be any different than what it is, and you were very, very productive today.
I was.
It was tough this morning.
Man, I had an awful, awful morning. Yeah.
But then I was talking to Matt when we drove home from the meeting, and I was like, I just hope that you weren't distracting yourself, because that's, again, that's what I would do, just throw myself into something else. But I don't think you were doing that. I think you were just really determined, because there are things that you've talked about them for a while now, wanting to kind of get things kind of tightened up a little bit in different areas, and going back to school is one of the things you want to do. And you really made some progress with that today.
Huge progress, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
I wish there was a computer program you could take, like a class in college that would teach you different programs. I took a class like that last semester.
Did you?
Yeah. Don't ever take basics in computer basics in college. Don't. I'm just telling you. If you have to.
Warning.
Yeah. You already know the basics. Trust me.
Yeah.
You're going to learn stuff that you don't even care about.
Right.
And you won't even learn it. let me get a laugh on that one. Thank you.
No, actually, there's some things that I needed to take care of. Because, when you're in your addiction, life gets out of hand. Financially, responsibilities, all that stuff. And I was on a really productive track with graduate school for a little over a year. And then when I relapsed, I just couldn't keep it together. And this was back in 2008. And so I had a year of graduate school underneath my belt, and I was just like, I didn't fail out. I was just opted out. I was like, I need to figure some stuff out. And of course I didn't. And then it was, peaks and valleys with my addiction. And then I was in different places. I moved to Texas to be with my dad, and it was just a very confusing chapter of my life. And so I couldn't find my way back to graduate school. And, I never addressed my student loan situation. That got out of hand. And so in the last 7 hours, I've gotten information to go back to graduate school, tackled my student loan situation and getting that under control.
Well, that's the thing about student loans. I mean, they're always going to be there.
Yeah, you got a different mentality about student loans, but anyhow, no, and just trying to get my credit, back together and all that good stuff. So, I mean, it wasn't that I was distracting myself, but it was at the same time, but it was it was stuff that it was on my to-do list. And, I had such a rough morning that I just needed to kind of get my brain elsewhere. So it's one of those things that this experience, it's like all experiences, it makes you who you are. It's also another thing that, in my daily job, when I am interacting with clients and they're saying that they're feeling this way or that way because they've lost someone or relationships, or all that stuff, there's always ways that you can relate because, and not that I'm just going to pull that out of my pocket every time somebody, to compare it to anything. But what I'm saying is even in recovery, life will throw you curveballs and you don't know what that's going to be, but you don't have to drink over it because that is going to make nothing will get better. Nothing gets fixed. Nothing gets resolved and things will only get worse. So I choose today to tackle those issues head on and deal with them and, and be forward focused. I say that a lot. And just count my blessings and realize how grateful I am to be where I am today. I mean, that's it. That's the whole thing is life is good. And I have nothing to be upset about. I mean, our time will come.
Yeah.
And, I just need to stay positive. We need to stay positive. And there's lots of, and the other thing too, is there's lots of couples that go through this and they end up going through like spiritual doubting their relationship in general, blaming, shaming. It can get messy, and for that, I'm grateful, that we have a healthy relationship and, there's nothing like that going on with us. And so, I'm just grateful to God that I have what I have and that I have you and that I have our life and I have my job and, we have 217 and, the people who listen care, they care about what's going on with us, even on days we talk about stupid crap.
I don't talk about stupid crap ever. Oh, you mean the days you talk about stupid crap?
I talk about stupid crap. Yeah, I do. I'll own up to that.
Time travel is not stupid.
No, it's not.
It's amazing. No, but you're right. And yeah, the people care. We care. And it's something that people go through. And, the more that people talk about it, just like our addiction, our problem. Mm-hmm. The more we talk about that, the easier it gets.
Right.
Like after I shared today in the meeting, it just, I felt like a ton of bricks had just lifted because I feel like I'm, and this is something else that's been going on. It's like, I feel like I'm just, well, you're going to say this has been going on forever, but I feel like people are out to get me. They're going to get me, man. Nobody's on Team Corey. But I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Who gives it? Who cares? Mm-hmm. I need to keep doing what I'm doing. And I was kind of joking around, but kind of not. On Eric, big shout out to Eric. We'll do our shout outs here in a minute. But he posted on his Facebook, he was doing some harm reduction training. And I don't know, some guy said to me one time, and I was just like, oh my gosh. But he said, well, I used to drink a half gallon a day. Now I drink a fifth. Will you be my recovery coach? I was like, what? No, like, what are you talking about? Well, according to certain people's groups of whatever, yep, he's making progress. That you should be his recovery coach. And I look at it like, well, I don't like to waste time. So that's no. And then it's like, oh, like all these rules we got to play by. And then now I'm in this rabbit hole of hating on something that, you know what? Who cares, man? Do what you do. I really don't have time to worry about what other people are doing. Am I recovery coaching people out there in public? No. So who? I don't really care. That's not my thing. I have 80,000 other things I can worry about. But instead, I get trapped down that little rabbit hole. And there I go spiraling out of control. And I was like, wait a minute, stop, Corey. Like, just stop. But I don't know what's making me go down those holes because I really don't have time for that, Marnie. You know this. Mm-hmm. But then I go from that one right to another one. Oh, well, these people, and they're not doing this and that. Who cares? What can I do about it? And the guy in the meeting tonight, I really needed that meeting tonight. He's like telling some other story, but he was like, guy kept asking me, well, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Yeah, he's right. What am I going to do about it? Bitching's not going to help. Mm-hmm. Do I have a plan? No. Well, okay, well then shut up. Move out of the way. Move on. Worry about the things you can control. Go give your wife a hug. Go pet your cat. Go change the lights in your car. Get the damn. I drove down a stupid road the other day. I think there was like, I don't know. It was like a cartoon road where it was like cement, you know, I'm driving. So the stuff's caked on my car. Anyway, go scrape that off, you know, spray. And there's things that I can do that I can really make a difference in my own life. Besides worrying about what other people are doing, if this is the right way to do this and this. No. Nope. Don't have time. Not qualified. So just let it go, bro.
Right.
See, like my share, like, see, it just, see, just even saying that out loud, it helps.
Right. And another thing that I was thinking about is that, you know, we do these podcasts regularly. You know, you've been 4 times a week for the last, how long?
Like 2 years and 4 months.
Right. Diligently.
Yes.
And, you know, this is where you come to talk about what's going on in your world.
Mm-hmm.
And for us not to talk about this is kind of like covering up, was it the pink elephant in the room? Because it's like, come on, how are we not going to talk about, you know, because we come here to talk about what's going on in our world. And this is what's going on in our world today, guys. It's not pretty. It's devastating. It's sad. But you know what? We're here and we're sober and we're grateful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we definitely didn't want it to let us stumble off back into our addiction, because we don't want to be in our addiction again.
No.
Because we've been through hell already. And yeah, we're going through this, and there are people going through worse things. You
Absolutely.
know, and we're not trying to compare who's doing what, but we're just saying that this did happen to us, and it sucked. And we didn't drink. We didn't even think about it. Now, there might have been a time where we would have, but and if we would have not handled the situations in the right way, it could have easily, you know, got out of control. If I just would have kept avoiding the whole situation and not trying to actually feel it, who knows? I don't know, but I thank God that somehow I was able to go, wait, what am I doing? I got to get in there, and, you know, but easily could have. You know, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, it didn't happen to me. It doesn't have to happen to you. I don't know. I'm just trying to live my life.
Right.
You know, it's hard enough.
Yeah.
But we didn't. And if we can do it, you know, other people can. So if somebody you know is going through it, if you're going through it, man, like, share that. And a friend of mine, Ricky, he needs to listen to the podcast. I don't know if he does. Big Country is what we call them. Man, he's been through some really tough times. I've talked about him before on the podcast. I don't know if I've ever said his name, but man, it was like loss after loss after loss after loss after loss. And he had lost a child. So I was like, bro, I should reach out to him. But I told him, like, dude, people are going to lean on you one day, you know, when I can't even, I don't know. I wouldn't know what to tell people, but I know he can help a lot of people one day. And he said he was getting married. So congratulations. If you did get married.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I just want to throw that real quick. So should we do shout outs, or do you want to say something else?
You can do shout outs.
All right.
Please don't play that shout out music.
Okay.
The shout out Tuesdays or Thursdays.
You hate it?
I hate it. It's awful.
It's bad, isn't it?
It's bad. Anyway, so we saved you that.
Okay. There you go.
All right. Let's see. I will shout out to Shayna, my sister, and Dorian, our moms and our dads, to Angela and Paula and Brad, Kim and Nancy and Jen.
Wow.
And Jamie.
Jeez.
And Kim, another Kim, and Kylie and Lauren and Susan. I think that's it. I'm sure there's more, but
I'll throw Mike or Paul or John or Jeff or
sure,
Dave in there. That's a lot of people, babe.
I know. I've had tons of people that have been supportive with this whole thing. And man, it's like I was on this freaking roller coaster of tears. It was like I'd finally stop crying, and then I would like get into talking to somebody, and then I would just start crying again. Oh man, it was a very trying morning, but I made it through. So what about your shout outs?
Oh, I'm gonna shout to Tom from the meeting. Mm-hmm. I know Tom. He came up afterward and he's like, "Hey man, yeah, keep up with you guys in the podcast." I was like, "Cool, appreciate it, bro." But it was nice seeing a familiar face. Mm-hmm. Shout out to my man Jamie Kelly. He should be listening.
Yeah, you were talking to him today.
Yeah, 6 months, 10 days. And Jamie, I'm proud of him, man. That's not been, it's Jamie took a hard road, man, because he's going to figure it out and do it himself like we always do. Mm-hmm. And then that's how we learn that, nope, that way really doesn't really work. But he's doing great. 6 months, 10 days. And he was finding meetings very uncomfortable sometimes and a lot of friction between personalities. So kind of like I was saying earlier, what are you going to do about it? He decided, well, I'll start my own meetings. So, I mean, they're not his meetings, but he got a group of people and they're like, yeah, let's do this. And got a place and they're doing that. So I'm proud of him. And I told him, I was like, that's the stuff that other people are going to see and go, damn, that dude, it doesn't matter if he has a day sober, 6 months sober, 10 years sober. He found something uncomfortable, but still wanted to keep. So he did it himself. That's what I'm saying. So big
awesome
props to Jamie, and that'll inspire other people. And it hopefully, will be another rock he can put in his bag of sobriety. I guess if people ever do that. Jenny S. She listens. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Jen.
Eric Omron, since I mentioned him earlier, might as well throw him in here.
Eric.
And then our homegirl, Anna Drevich.
Hey, Anna.
And I hope you're doing well. And she had a little slipity trip. It took what it takes, man. And, she's back on it or back at it, I guess you could say. But she wrote a blog about it and she was honest. And, it doesn't matter if it takes a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get honest, but it takes what it takes. And I'm glad that she's not back on that horrible life, because we know how bad it is, man. Mm-hmm. And it can take people years sometimes to come back. So then, I haven't talked to Anna, but we've messaged a few times, and I hope she's doing well.
Yeah.
So shout out. Thursday night shout out. You don't like that?
Oh my God, no.
Should I make a new one?
People know what I'm talking about.
They probably do, yeah.
It's very awful.
Thursday.
Just play it right now, just a little bit, and then cut it out. No, I'm serious.
No.
Just to get people to know how terrible it is. Just play it.
Never playing it again. Deleting it immediately. But thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Can I still play that stuff at the end of it, the podcast?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't mind. I like the
not,
stuff at the end.
okay.
It's just that it's like a bad fair noise or something. It is.
Yeah, it wasn't my finest piece of work, that's for sure. And you could have see now it's your fault. I'm blaming you. You should have said something earlier.
Oh, right.
When I played it the first time, you should have been like, "No, honey, that's annoying."
I think I might have. Not at that very moment.
Of course you did, honey.
I was definitely thinking it.
No, you did. You did. I just didn't hear you. It's my fault. See, guys, I'm learning. Now, thanks for listening to us, and that's what we're going through today. So, I'm sure that helped somebody. Mm-hmm. Helped me.
Yep.
217recovery.com if you need resources for anything to do with your recovery. If you need to find food, housing, there's a complete list of housing stuff up there too. Sober living, stuff like that. But browse around. If you have a phone that they call a smartphone, you got an app store, download the 217 Recovery app. Mm-hmm. And sign up to win a free shirt.
You'll get a free shirt.
For show. 217recovery.com and get the app from the app store. Appreciate it. Talk to you on Saturday.
Yep. Good night, everybody.
Win a bunch of free shit from 217 Recovery. Go to the app or the website, 217recovery.com.